And Gary, I'm going to put you on hold for a few minutes while she tells her story. Then I want you to come back and comment on it. But I wanted to have Michelle, we're not going to say her last name or show her in case they try to persecute her or put her on a no-fly list because of this. TSA workers are on record bragging, I'll put you on a no-fly list if you don't have sex with me. They're on record. It's mainstream news. The guy's gotten in trouble for it, saying he put cocaine in her bag and was going to put her in jail if she didn't go along with him. There's been other ones who've been caught being child molesters. I mean, it's all coming out how out of control these people are because a lot of them are perverts. I mean, if you're a pervert, you want to make 15, 20 bucks an hour, you go get a TSA job. Now, a lot of them are veterans and people that just want a job. They're not all scum, but the government is training a giant army and admitting they want these people on the streets. They already have TSA Viper teams out there and mobile trucks. In fact, guys, we never showed this yesterday when we were talking. I forget the name of the clip, but we've shown it many times. It's a Homeland Security video where they show the big mobile trucks, the 18-wheeler backs that you walk through while Michelle's talking. I want to explain. This is to be at public schools. The FBI wants them at malls. This is in almost all the county and federal courthouses. It's come out they are saving all the images. It does violate child porn laws. I mean, the beta testing, the training of the personnel and the public to accept it. The government's taking babies' blood at birth. That's now declassified in a secret 39-year program. The government's trying to force vaccines on us. They want in our comfort zone. They want to train us. They put their hands on us. And then it's done to everybody. So we're going to be showing these videos over Michelle while she talks. Michelle, I'm going to try to not get angry and sit back and shut up. Describe exactly what they did to you, the trip to Colorado, what happened, go through it all. Tell people graphically what you told me before you went on air. Specifically, plus I've been there and seen this. Because you can't pull cameras out and tape her till they threaten you. But, I mean, they admit they're doing this. But here it is really happening to somebody in my office. Michelle, your 20-month-old daughter, your 8-year-old daughter, a man put his hands on you. This is incredible. Break it down.
Okay, so my daughters and I, we flew to Colorado on the 17th of October. We spent a week there. We came back on the 24th of October. In the Denver airport, you have to go through several steps of security. The first one being that you take off your shoes and you put all your belongings on a conveyor. After that, they have you step through a metal detector. After you step through the metal detector, they try and send you over to the naked body scanners. Well, I was told to opt out, and so I told them that I opted out for me and my children. So they yelled real loud twice, "We have an opt-out, we have an opt-out." And so they pull us off to the side, and they then proceed to search us. They searched me first. It was a gentleman, and he starts at my ankles, and he works his way up. And as he gets to my inner thigh, the palm of his hand goes across my private. And then it goes down the other leg to my other ankle. After they're finished with the legs, they then proceed up the sides of the body, out through your arms, and then after they got finished with the arms, they then went to my chest. When they went to my chest, they put their hands around my breast, and as they were rotating around my breast, they squeezed every once in a while. And as they're squeezing, you're standing there in front of everybody, totally embarrassed, feeling like you're being arrested for something, and then they go down the back part of your body and they kind of scoop their hand under your butt.
How loud did he yell out, opt out?
We have an opt out. We have an opt out. I mean, it caught the attention of the security guards that were probably 20, 30 feet away. So as they yell opt out, of course, everyone turns and looks at you because a lot of people don't know that you have the option to opt out.
And it's all to intimidate you. So go back to, you also told me what did he do between your legs?
As he's running up the inside of my leg with the palm of his hand, he then sweeps his hand across my private. And, as he's, they apply force, I guess, to see if they can feel anything in between there. It wasn't too hard, but it was definitely not just a simple swipe across the private. They take their hand and they sweep it across your private, and then they work their way down your other leg. And then not only that, but from the backside, they kind of scoop
What would you do if a man did that at a park? You'd call the police.
Absolutely. I'd probably hit him and then call the police.
Now, please continue. Let's get to what happened with the 20-month-old supposed Al-Qaeda and the 8-year-old Al-Qaeda.
Okay, so after they were finished, squeezing my breast and things along those lines, then the gentleman who patted me down was moving on to my 8-year-old, and I told him, I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you to put your hands on my child. I would like a female, please. And so he kind of looked irritated a little bit, but he called a female. Again,
you're the bad one. You don't want your again, they're just training us. They shouldn't be doing it to begin with. But now a 20-month-old, an 8-year-old, you're like, number one, a man already touched you. That shouldn't have happened,
right.
Much less a woman. Now it's the baby and the little girl.
Right.
And again, they've already caught a bunch of TSA people being perverts. And your sweet little girls are so sweet. I mean, I see them up here all the time. I don't think I could have watched this happen. I mean, what was this like?
Well, it was kind of like, what do you do?
No, I understand. Yeah.
It wasn't like,
there's no warning. You're just at these checkpoints.
Right. And I was trying to come home. It wasn't like I was home already and could have refused it and stayed at home. I was trying to get back home. So, you just stand there and you kind of watch these things happen. They weren't as aggressive with my children as they were with me. Of course, they didn't squeeze my daughter's breasts because my daughters have none.
But they put their hands on them.
But they did, feel their chest and back and legs and, but in private area, they just...
So let's be clear. A woman stuck her hands between your daughter's legs.
Yes. Yes.
In America.
And then the 20-month-old, it was a little less than my 8-year-old. They just kind of,
Well, a 20-month-old's probably only the number 3 in Al-Qaeda.
Right.
I mean, Anwar al-Awlaki, the head of Al-Qaeda, is admittedly hanging out secretly at the Pentagon. People are getting murdered and killed all the time in this country, but they say they're doing this in the airports to stop bombers. Think about it. It's all made up, ladies and gentlemen, even if the terrorists were real. This is a joke. This has nothing to do with it. Oh, and they can't allow profiling, so they can do it to everybody. And then you get the internal Homeland Security documents, Michelle. It's all aimed at gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, returning veterans. This is for the American people. We're being indoctrinated in total enslavement.
Right. And then after they, what's even more crazy is, they gave us the complete pat down, the molestation, if you say, because now I'm starting to realize that that's exactly what that was. I had a sippy cup with water in it for my 20-month-old. And the lady asked me, what's in here? And I told her it's water. You can dump it out if you need to. She goes, no, I need you to open it. And so I was going to twist the lid to open it, and she stepped back as if it was going to blow.
No, they get these paranoid delusionals that actually think a woman, a Caucasian woman, not wearing a turban on her head, with 2 little girls is a terrorist. They know full well that you're not. They wanted, again, to let you know they're the boss and get you used to being a slave and lining up and answering all their questions. Continue.
So what I did when I opened the cup is I took a drink of the water that was inside the cup, just to kind of show her.
Submit to her.
That, there's nothing dangerous in this cup, or I would not have just ingested it.
Oh, you're so evil.
And so what she did is she took this little strip, it's kind of like a urine sample strip, where she just kind of held it over the cup.
Oh.
And then she took these chemicals and dropped it on the strip.
And notice, she didn't want you to dump it out. She wanted to go through this little ritual that she's your God, she's your king. To imagine what's coming next, Michelle. Naked body radiation scanners, having your private parts grabbed. And again, this is molestation. It's illegal to scan a naked child's image, but they do it all day long and save them. It's illegal for anybody else to set up machines like this without a radiation license and without shielding for the workers. They don't care, because they can find workers who they ask, you worried about radiation? No. Good, you're going to the top. Oh, you're worried about these? You're fired. We know that's happening, so they're getting an army of moron control freaks. And I'll remind you, if your wife was in the grocery store and a man walked up and stuck her hands between the legs, she would be arrested. The police would review the tape. He'd probably serve 5 to 10 years in jail. He'd be a sexual offender. But now all the perverts get to go be TSA workers, or just people that are dumb and will go along with this. This is illegal. It is wrong. And if they can get away with this, they can get away with anything.
Right. You know, it was actually very humiliating to stand there in front of everyone, and you know, because I know that I've watched many people, including children, walk through the naked body scanners. You know, but luckily I have the knowledge from working here to know that you do not walk through those things. You try not to even stand near them.
But now if you opt out, they then punish you to let you know who the boss is. Anything else that happened?
Other than the patting down the searches of me and my children, and then the testing of the liquid in the sippy cup, then you're just kind of rushed on. You have all your belongings in your hand, but they want you to get out of that area as quick as possible.
They got more slaves to indoctrinate.
So,
well, the good news is the head of major airlines are coming out saying it's a fraud. The people are saying no. The Italians have thrown them out. And this system, if people just continue to refuse, is going to fail. People are getting angry, especially journalists that are being made to do this. They're all starting to write about it, Michelle. And you've said it. You're not going to fly anymore.
No, I actually am not. If I can't get there driving, then I'm not going. You know, because I don't want to put myself or my children. My 8-year-old asked me, Mom, why do they do this to us? And I said, well, you know, honey, with all the supposed terrorism that's going on in this world, you know, it's just what they're doing to try and make us feel safe, but what they're doing is invading our rights. You know, I said, you never allow anyone to ever touch you that way. So then I had to go through the whole speech with my 8-year-old about being touched in places that you shouldn't be touched, but then I just had to allow this perfect stranger to touch my daughter in places that she shouldn't have.
It's incredible. They're pushing through all these taboos, everything. Think about every month we see articles, even like ABC News, where a family shows their child in a towel. Nothing is even naked, and they take the child and the parents go to prison because the people at the Walmart or whatever are looking at the photos and they've got the dirty mind. No laws are broken, your kids are gone, but then the TSA is recording their naked bodies, fondling them, and hey, that's okay.
Right. It's very sad. It really is. And so, you know, I don't think we will be flying anywhere because it's only going to get worse if we don't fight it and, you know, get our freedoms.
And they're coming out with the mobile trucks I just showed that they admit they're going to put naked body scanners in. Imagine coming to a checkpoint, they go through the naked body scanner, and people are going to start fighting back. I mean, look, I'm sorry, police. I know you think it's normal and you're our God. You want to take our blood at checkpoints or take our kids' blood at birth because you're God, you're the government. You want to shoot kids up with syphilis because it's loving and good in Guatemala. No, you're sick. You're wrong. You understand? You work for terrorists, period. We'll be back with Gary Franchi, Lindsey Williams, and a lot more coming up after this quick break. But this story is one of the top stories on Drudge Report right now. Stay with us. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.